Hello, and welcome to Achievement Hunting 101. I'm FuFuCuddilyPoof, and this is level 246. Joining me tonight is Matrarch.
Well, hello. I don't usually get to go first. Surprised me, Kenny.
Mixing it up. You never know who I'm going to call out, like Big L.
Oh, you never call me second? How's it going?
Not bad. I always call out people randomly, like Proulx.
Hi,
He's also joining us tonight.
I'm here for my semi-annual checkup, or maybe just annual. I don't know. I'm here every now and again, so here I am again.
Somebody will remind us last time.
We are really scraping the bottom of the barrel here. Oh, I mean, Proulx, thanks for joining us, dude.
Hey, watch it.
It's our Thursday night crew.
I know. Let's go play Halo.
All right, bye, guys.
Afterwards.
Good show.
All right, good show.
We got to do the show.
Okay.
Oh.
Let's go finish up that game. We only got a little bit left of the crap that we're going to do together, and then we can move on to something.
Zoo Tycoon
Oh,
on
we're gonna
Xbox
play that.
360.
Let's do it.
I heard Scott Pilgrim has a sequel coming out.
Ooh.
Let's not do it. To be fair, it can't be worse than the first.
Oh boy,
Oh,
shots
stop.
fired.
Although I am very excited for a Scott Pilgrim anime. There's no way that can be bad.
I mean, if you didn't have a job or commitments, you could binge watch that show like in one day.
Oh, and looky here. I guess that's Newsquay. Trying to tell us to hurry it up.
Question Gway.
Something like that.
Paraguay.
Question of the week
Delirious Gway.
comes from Matrarch.
Ooh.
Yes, if you had a month of free time, no job, family, or other commitments, what game or games would you like to play that you currently don't feel you have time for? Now, I'm sure all of us as adults with family and jobs and other bull crap
Whoa.
very
Kenny.
much relate to this. Yeah, I know. Nice save, I know, right? I'll go ahead and start reading out some
Ooh,
patron
unbelievable.
responses. First comes from Wild West 08. He says, Dragon Age Inquisition and or Witcher 3. I feel like those universes are so huge, I would need a huge jump start to get started.
Wow.
I
Wild West.
100% agree.
I mean, this is a guy who takes off from work to play like Red Dead Redemption 2. He would have to take a long time off to play Witcher.
I will
think.
say, in Dragon Age Inquisition, there is a character with my last name. So, it's a great game, though, also. And a very fantastic choice for this.
If only we knew
I
your
think
last
you know
name.
it. I think you might be aware of what it is, but
Okay. Interesting. Jinx.
I did not know that. Dragon Age Inquisition is definitely a game I would like to dive into one day, but yeah, I know that game is humongous. Next patron response, Beast. I'd probably just hammer out as much of the grindy backlog stuff that I either don't have time for or I don't want to worry about with my short amount of gaming time I currently have. If I had to pick a single game, I'd probably have to say the Mass Effect trilogy. Never played the original trilogy and have only ever heard good things. So that actually is my answer. I want to play the Legendary Edition so badly, but I do not have the time to be able to go through all three of those games. I adore the original trilogy. Those games are absolutely phenomenal, and I would love to go back through and replay them now that it's all remastered and pretty and whatnot.
Pretty.
Yeah, I like. With as little gaming time as I have, I'm like paralyzed to even try to think of playing those.
you should do
Not
it.
just completing it, just playing.
It's very good. I just a couple months ago now, just completed Legendary Edition. So good, so good. So
Yeah. Proulx did it, and he's got like a job, and like he's become a cat lady recently. Like has like 10 or 12 kittens, and
yeah,
if he has time for that, you do.
that's right.
Yeah, totally.
I'm sure I've asked this
Also,
before. Okay, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I don't want to call Humble Beast out, but in his response, he specifically says, if he had to pick a single game, he would pick a trilogy of games. So I just wanted to point that out.
Now, Florida education. It's okay. We love you, Humble Beast. It's no big deal. Kenny, I think I've asked this, but if you were to play Mass Effect again, do you remember the choices that you made the first time, and would you pick different choices or characters or whatever?
So I don't remember specific choices I made. Like, throughout all the dialogue, I have a general idea of the choices that I made. I know I have a general idea of the characters I chose to go along with and who not to go along with. Proulx understands what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to be vague because story stuff. But I don't know. Like, part of me wants to pick the exact same choices so I can see the same remastered things that I've done before, but part of me wants to do something different. I generally just play, like, what would I say in that situation? I don't always necessarily pick Paragon or Renegade. Sometimes I go back and forth. I would 100% punch the reporter again.
Oh, I know about that.
I was going to say, if you were going to play it again, Foof, and sort of kind of go in generally the same direction, or at least see where you were, it'd be interesting to contrast those two, like, choices, like what you made back in the day, and now what is the same. Like, you punch a reporter, of course, which is the right decision. But what would be
100%.
different? What has changed in your personality that would make you choose something else? You know, maybe you would romance Liara instead of whoever. You know, interesting.
Yeah, that actually, yeah, I don't know. It would just be like whatever's in the moment of what choice I would pick, who I would romance and whatnot. I don't know. They're such good games, man. I want to play them again.
It's in Game Pass.
And it's Game Pass, which is even better.
Go for it, Humble Beast. That is your real name.
And speaking of Game Pass, Hawkeye Berry says, I'm thinking Sea of Thieves, but I'm salty about all the unobtainable achievements I can't get. I'll instead go with Final Fantasy X and 10-2 HD Remaster. Also good choice. Final Fantasy X is great.
So is he saying
Insert horrible laugh here.
The water in Sea of Thieves is salty? I mean, unobtainable achievements you can't get as opposed to the unobtainable achievements that you can get? Come on, Hawkeye. You're starting to sound like Humble Beast. We can't have that. I mean, I
actually don't remember there being unobtainables in
I think
Sea of Thieves.
they have like events.
I'm looking them up now. Yes.
Yeah, no, there was an update. Oh god, I'm definitely gonna misremember this now. But there was some thing that they were running, and they stopped running it because they were doing a new season or something like that. I can't specifically remember, but yeah, there was a mode, like an arena mode or something, that they stopped. So
yeah, it looks like there was an anniversary update, and they introduced an arena.
Oh, I see. So
there's 11 achievements tied to that.
So they're actually discontinued. Now I got
yes.
it. Now I got it. Yeah, Michelle and I have friends that
do not recall even hearing about that.
Only play Sea of Thieves, and they have fun. They don't worry about it.
That should be our Thursday night game. We should play Sea of Thieves.
Fine, let's do it.
They're unobtainables
I'm already started,
discontinueds and all that other stuff that people complain about.
Right, I know.
You already have it on your tag. It don't matter if we can get what we don't have.
I don't have it on my
Jables
tag.
likes it. It can't be any good.
What is this nonsense?
Oh, I thought you did.
It's better than Back for Blood. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, dear.
But just think, we could talk in pirate accents. We could talk about Kettle Karn.
Well, we'll make
It's
a deal.
relevant.
If we can get back for Blood and accomplish some more, I would do some Sea of Thieves. We're gonna have to broker some kind of agreement here.
Deal.
To make that happen.
No deal.
I am down for both of those games.
Get Howie Mandel over here.
All right, Al, how about you?
Okay. Mental Knight says, I would grab some raspberry frosted Pop-Tarts. You had to be there in
They're
patron
the
chat.
worst.
Yeah, I had to be there in patron chat. You know, when we look for a patron question of the week and P-Tart asks what our favorite Pop-Tarts are, you know we're in trouble. Yeah, I agree.
I did not see him say
Kenny.
raspberry Pop-Tarts. They're the worst.
I don't like any fruit ones. I prefer the chocolate or s'mores.
The only thing worse than like raspberry Pop-Tarts is like an unfrosted one.
So,
They
okay,
have
lightning round question then, since it was asked. Proulx, favorite Pop-Tart?
Oh God! God! I don't know. I don't think I have one.
You
I will
failed
say
that
this
lightning
is
round.
An odd bit of trivia. All right, sorry.
Go
I will
ahead.
say this is very strange, and I think this is very bizarre behavior. My mom, when I was growing up, would put butter on her brown sugar Pop-Tarts.
Cinnamon.
She would butter them like toast. And I always thought
That sounds delicious.
I'm sure it's good, but
Can
it's
you
just
come
making
back?
something terribly not
We're
healthy
recording.
for you.
Man, now it's a Pop-Tarts.
Do you guys all have is this like
Kenny-
a consensus that I'm not aware of? Like you all have a same favorite? Or?
I
I don't know. Michelle, what's your favorite?
I
Kenny
either
likes
like cinnamon
Old Bay.
brown sugar or s'mores.
Okay. L?
My answer will surprise you. I don't eat Pop-Tarts.
That's
But-
not the question.
That's if
I
you
know.
had to eat one.
Gun to my
I don't eat them
head.
either, but
Yeah, I agree with s'mores. S'mores.
see, I got a 3-way tie. S'mores, brown sugar, cinnamon, and cookies and cream.
Oof.
All right, there we go. Food portion of the
All three of
podcast.
them are just
So,
You put some butter.
Done.
Put some butter, Old Bay, and some pickles.
where were we?
uh,
yeah. Oh,
Mental.
mental.
Thanks, mental.
Oh, no wonder it's so weird. It's a mental
Derailed.
response.
Damn it, mental. Did he answer the question? Oh, yes. He'd like to play the 4 Dark Pictures games and the Quarry. Those folks seem to make cool movie-like games with a spooky style.
I have no idea what the Dark Pictures games are.
Proulx did his research and can tell us.
Wrong about that. I'm I'm aware of their existence, but I don't know much
All right,
about them.
the
I
Dark
haven't played
Pictures Anthology. Oh, yes,
Right.
Man of Medan. I've heard of these. The Devil in Me, House of Ashes, Little Hope, Directive 8020.
Oh, I remember hearing about these. I can't remember who. Someone brought these up before. It was probably Koosh.
They're probably great. This is what you would choose, Mental? Okay.
Aren't these like point and clickish? Or are they just
they're
like,
listed as adventure, but each one's like a 20-hour or
All
more
right.
completion.
All right, let's try to find a good answer.
Oh, Devin talked about these. I remember this now.
Well, he's the man of Medevin. Chewie on Ice says, one of the big open world RPGs that have been forever on my tag and are on my NeverEnding Stories list. So, Elder Scrolls Oblivion or Fallout New
Great.
Vegas, which I started way back in 2010 and 2012 and have barely touched since. I'm realistically unlikely to go back to them without carving out a big chunk of time that no longer exists. Well, that sounds morbid. Are you talking
I
about...
cannot recommend
Are you
Oblivion highly enough.
Are you saying that the hypothetical month of free time doesn't exist, so you won't play these games? As usual,
Yeah.
Sounds like it.
I would say we do have the time. So, Chewie, you just boosted Gears of War, right? Like, if you carved out an hour and a half to play Oblivion, you'd get it done eventually. I'm not saying that's as fun as playing multiplayer, but we do have time.
If he's doing Gears, what I would do, is play Oblivion offline on a second 360.
Mm-hmm.
That way, while you're boosting, because you're just standing there most of the time, right?
No, you gotta run to the middle.
Yeah, it's
Oh, that's right. Okay,
Gears boosting
is
a
serious
little more
business.
active than that.
Serious business. It's a roadie run. You have to hold A. So this is really hard enough for Chewie as it is. So don't give him more chores to do, more tasks. Good answer, though. Our RPGs seem to be a good answer. So we'll go with Ahiza, who says, all the long RPGs that I don't get around to. In particular, I'd start with the Tales of X games, Octopath Traveler 1 and 2, Mass Effect Andromeda, and Witcher 3 in no particular order. I'm surprised he hasn't played Andromeda because he's a big Mass Effect fan. So I guess Andromeda's like the black sheep, Crystal Skull of the series.
The Crystal Skull. That's pretty apt, I'd say.
That's accurate enough.
Yeah, close enough.
It's like the one after the trilogy that we put the name on to capitalize on it. Yeah, so my answer would basically be in line with that. RPGs, specifically anything Final Fantasy, Kingdom Hearts, those type of games, plus also open world games are also just long or known for being long. Yeah, so any of the Rockstar guys, any of the Square Enix guys, I would like to play those.
Have you ever played Kingdom Hearts?
Yes, I played 1 on the PlayStation 2, and then I played a little bit of 3 on the Xbox One when it came out and never went back to it. They're just so confusing, and they start off so crazy.
Oh, yeah, you don't play for...
But no excuse.
You don't play to make sense of the story from one game to the next.
It's always just there's just an intimidation factor about these long games. So we need to just leave work for a month. Like a Direct did, involuntarily.
What about you, Michelle?
Oh, well, I'm going to start with reading a couple more patron responses. So Xlax Jester says, Red Dead 2. Just feels like I will never get enough time to play that one. And I kind of feel that way too, and I feel like that falls under
another great answer.
Yeah, it falls under that category of being overwhelmed by the amount of gameplay you think it will take. And I get the feeling like with most of these things, if we just sat and started it, the game would get our attention and we'd play it when we could and we'd get through it. But maybe not. Moving on, P-Tart said I would dive into the multitude of 100-hour plus simulation games that are currently on Game Pass, like the 2 Point Games, Zoo Tycoon, and so on. And Kenny, I think that sounds like you might have written that answer.
P-Tart.
Well, on the flip side, I have completed the Zoo Tycoons that are on Game Pass, and I've played both of the 2 Point Games. All are excellent.
All right, there we go.
You would love them, P-Tart.
But that's
just out of curiosity, Foof, was there any particular reason you were able to complete Zoo Tycoon? Like somebody was picking up all the poop or doing all the running? I just feel like somebody was helping you, and that's the only way you were able to get through it, is all I'm trying to say. But
there was just like always this dust storm because there was just this one random guy, I don't know who it was just running through my zoo.
I just remember you saying that guy had massive calves. Yep.
Yep, there it is.
All the trash cans were cleaned out manually,
right.
Even though you didn't need it.
That zoo was pristine, man, I tell you.
But this actually goes exactly to the point I was making with regard to Red Dead. The reason you played those games is because you pressed A and you played them, right? Like, you're busy. You don't always come to the game showcase with a game to showcase. But for games you wanted to play, you did. And I think that's kind of generally the case, and will more or less be my answer in a moment here. But let me talk about what Mighty Mango said. Mighty Mango answered all of the Assassin's Creed series. I've started them all, but really want to play and finish them all, even if it's just the story portion. Odyssey was amazing, and I had over 150 hours into it. Origins is calling my name. So yeah, I think... I mean, this is a good question, right? If you had a month of free time, this, that, and the other. And I know nobody likes to talk about this time and space because it was awful. But like, for me at least, when my job was moved offline for 3 months at the beginning of the pandemic, I don't have a job that converts easily to offline work. So I had some meetings, but I had a lot of time. And I played like nothing during those 2.5 months of time to be able to sit and play games. And I think it all comes down to starting. You have to sit down and start to play. And I feel like for most of us, if we had all this free time to play games, we would still play our comfort games. We'd still play the games we were really interested in. And we'd still look at a Red Dead Redemption 2 and go, there's just so much to do, and just never started. I don't actually know that I would start anything if I had this month of free time that I'm not already working on. In an ideal universe, I'd go with the answer that's given by other people. A lot of the long RPGs I never really got to sit down with. I'd love to sit down and play all the Final Fantasy Pixel remasters and see how they've been updated since they're all coming out soon, I think, on Switch, or they've already been out on Steam. But I know I'm not going to do that because I'd have them and I'd just never start them, but I'd still boot up gems every day. So there's the ideal and there's the reality. I just think the reality is we'd still play more or less the way we play, even with more time. But that's just how it is for me. But good answers. All Assassin's Creed is a great.
A lot of truth in it, I'm sure.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed's a great choice. Like that's definitely a series I abandoned very early on and would love to play more of too. So, maybe different circumstances would lead to a different result, of course.
Yeah, I think at that time, at the point when everyone was work from home, that was like peak Gems of War days when we had the clan and everything like that. So everyone was just like involved and addicted to that.
Agreed.
All right, Proulx, how about you?
Well, I will read off a couple of responses first as well. Of course, Ruderek says, for me, I'd probably go knock out the full completion of Persona 3 and 4. Both obnoxious completions, apparently, so only having to deal with them for a month would make doing the both way more bearable. And I will tell you this, Ruderek, as someone who just watched my partner go through Persona 4, it is very long. That's a big old game. So it might just take a month just for that, but she immensely enjoyed it for what it's worth. And it definitely... Here's the thing, though. If you're sitting next to someone playing that game, you will get used to hearing the same 3 songs over and over and over again, and they will get drilled into your head. Oh, man. There's one woman who goes, Persona! When she calls her Persona... every time, so every 3 seconds, she's... anyways, doesn't matter. But a good game by all accounts. So it's just super annoying.
Pikachu!
Exactly. Kind of like that. Yeah. All right, moving on to Restack. He says, I'm entirely not sure, actually, but I'd probably be in concurrence with one of the large RPG games. I have the Mass Effect Legendary, but haven't started it yet. I'd probably go with that. Granted, I'm willing to work my way through some. I just have to focus and have the mental energy, which I don't always have. And this is kind of what you were talking about, Michelle, where it's like I kind of agree that like because I did have some time not too long ago, during COVID and stuff like that, and it's like I don't know that I changed my patterns that much. You can definitely get through Mass Effect because this was a big pick for this question. Mass Effect 1 in 30, 40 hours reasonably. That's not terribly long. Like people seem to be shy from like Red Dead 2 is a different beast, GTA or something like that. Persona, of course, we're talking about that. But even doing those games, even though it might take you 2 months to do it, it is doable, I think, depending on how, like what your completion, what you're going for, So I guess, it makes sense that people like try to slice up their gaming time so that it's not jeopardized by one game. But if it's something you're really interested in, I would just say, just go for it.
Agreed.
Yeah, it's just it definitely is some like fear in just starting, especially with these ginormous RPGs like a Mass Effect or an Elder Scrolls or a Red Dead, because there's just so much in it.
How dare
it's one thing to like if you're to start like like a Tomb Raider where it's mostly linear. Like, yeah, sure, there's some stuff that you can do when you get off the beaten path, but it's mostly a linear game. There's not a lot of exploration, whereas Red Dead, there is a massive open world for you to find and explore. And you don't want to just sit there and just beeline the main story. You want to go off and do this thing and then that thing. And what a 20-hour campaign turns into 120 hours because you get so distracted with all the side quests and things to do.
Agreed.
All right. But unless anybody has any other games they would like to mention or anything, let's go ahead and get into the game showcase. Good question, Rhetoric. That was fun. And if anyone else has any questions or topics that they want us to cover, be sure to send one of us a message or add us in Patreon VIP chat in Discord. But yeah, with that, let's get into game showcase. And I think I will just go right down in order. I'll go first with a game that I've been playing that actually, surprisingly, did come to Game Pass. I know it went in Game Pass and out of Game Pass, and we weren't really sure. But that game would be Hot Wheels Unleashed. Have you guys actually had a chance to play this?
Nope.
No.
Nope.
I was kind of thinking, Proulx, you might have jumped into this. Well, actually, now I think about it, everyone would have jumped into this. So, because I know you guys like the Forza Horizons, and this game is very similar in that it's arcadey racing. It's not like, obviously, it's not like a simulation game. And I knew in Forza Horizon 5, they had the Hot Wheels update. So when I saw this, I'm like, oh, this will be kind of neat. So I downloaded it, and I mean, it's exactly what you think a Hot Wheels racing game would be. It's, like I said, it's arcade racing. It has all kinds of the cool Hot Wheels cars that you can buy in like real life in the game. You race on the iconic orange tracks. And what's really neat, because it's in Game Pass and it's like the what do they call it? Like some sort of special edition, whatever the crap its name is. You get a couple of different DLCs included.
That's the Game of the Year edition, right?
Batman is in there, so you get like the Batmobile and yeah, that's it. Game of the Year edition. I couldn't remember what it was called.
Oh, good.
But you get like different Batman and other DC superheroes and villains cars in there. You get the TMNT cars. You get Looney Tune cars, Mystery Machine, all kinds of stuff. And that's actually one thing. I was flipping through all the different cars. I mean, I was actually really surprised at just how many cars they have in this game. I wasn't expecting it, considering, it's just Hot Wheels and it's like a $50 game. But yeah, it's just, if you like an arcade racing type game, it's a lot of fun. And it's also kind of cool. I know, Elle, you might enjoy this with your kids because it has a split screen mode, which was actually a little surprising seeing that.
Just like Halo.
Actually do like
Oh, shh. Too soon. Too soon.
Yeah, these little devs were able to do what 343 was not. Go figure. But yeah, Hot Wheels, it's just like it's like a 20-hour completion or so. If you're a completionist, this is definitely something that like you could complete. It's not a big deal, not going to be anything difficult. I was also surprised when I jumped into the adventure mode just how many races there were. You have like this big map, and as you complete one, it unlocks a few more, and you can go through and play through all of them. And as you're playing, you like get blind boxes, is what they call like their loot box, which essentially is just a new car. And there's like achievements for opening up 100 of those, getting let's see, what's the achievement for 100,000 coins to upgrade, and you can use those to upgrade your cars and buy new vehicles and stuff like that. Just yeah, it's just a really fun racing game. I don't know how much more to say I could say about it. That's just belaboring the point, but yeah.
Loot boxes? What is this, 2016?
Oh, they got to monetize it somehow. And it's not a loot box per se. It's close enough, though.
So I see the achievement right now that has the highest ratio in Hot Wheels is has to do with getting 25,000 gears. So are those things you earn from finishing top in races? I know you kind of equated it to Forza Horizon. So does it have an open world element like that where you can earn stuff as well, or is it all just straight racing?
It's mostly just straight racing. The gears in and of itself is like their upgrade material. So like when you have whatever car that is that you want and you want to upgrade it, you need X amount of coins and X amount of gears in order to upgrade it.
Okay.
And you can get gears through completing races, where each race that you complete earns you X amount of supplies, or you can actually dismantle cars that you don't want or need to get gears. And then obviously the higher rarity of the car, you get more material for it. And I know, like I was going through opening my my boxes, and I wound up unlocking cars that I already own. So it's like, all right, well, let's just dismantle that. That way I can get more materials to upgrade the cars I actually like to use. Yeah.
You've played the sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
No, you're good.
You've played the Hot Wheels, the famous Hot Wheels DLC in the Forza games, right?
Oh yeah.
So I know that obviously it's a very different beast, but I'm just wondering comparatively, like, is this like a better Hot Wheels experience than what is in those Forza games?
I think it's definitely different. It's kind of hard to equate the two because the Forza Hot Wheels is open world ish, whereas this is more of just racing. Yeah, that's kind of hard to actually think. They're similar in the way that they feel because it is like that arcade racing. So if you like the Forza Hot Wheels expansion, this is something that you're going to like in and of itself. It's just kind of more of the same of that, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Different experience, and obviously it's not like real cars like in Forza where you gotta drive like a 68 Mustang or something like that.
Sure.
Looks like it's also on PC Game Pass.
PC Game Pass, Xbox Game Pass, cloud gaming.
Probably need a really
optimized. It looks gorgeous. All right, but yeah, that's all I got for Hot Wheels. So, Proulx, what game would you like to talk about?
Well, as I've talked about before, big into the random games that the Better Completions Matter Challenge give us every month. So, this one spit out a doozy for me this month, and that is Shovel Knight. Well, what it was formerly known as Shovel Knight, but it's now Shovel Knight Treasure Trove.
That's Shovel Knight completion, right?
No,
super simple.
This would actually be my number if I can get it complete, and that's kind of what I'm gonna what I'm going to be talking about. If I can complete it, it will be my number 5 in terms of best completions on TA. So,
dang,
it is, and well, I'll talk about that just because it's interesting. But so Shovel Knight is essentially Mega Man, except you instead of the Mega Buster, you give him a shovel. So it's not ranged, but you also give the shovel the properties of the pogo cane from DuckTales. Was it DuckTales? Yeah, DuckTales, right? That's the the Super Nintendo one with the
regular Nintendo. But
two games I've never played.
Yeah, well, I didn't expect you, Foof, to get the references, but that's okay. So it's essentially Mega Man, but with a melee weapon instead of a ranged weapon. So, it's very good, but it's challenging. And a lot of the difficulty comes from the different ways you have to beat the game. So, for example, in the base game, you have to beat the game, then beat the game on New Game Plus. You also have to beat the game. There's a speed run. You have to beat the game without dying. You have to beat the game without falling into any pits. So you can sort of like pick and choose how you want to do that, but it seems to be that there's probably 3 or 4 runs you have to do. And then, of course, they released 3 further title updates where you play as different characters, and you still have those speedrun achievements, you still have those New Game Plus achievements. So there's a lot here, and I'm still really in the beginning of it. I completed the game with Shovel Knight. I've completed the New Game Plus mode, and I'm now working on the speedrun. The problem is the speedrun. I'm doing the speedrun and the no death run at the same time. The problem is it just means a lot of dashboarding, essentially. So every time I die, I just have to quit out, which is a pain and really demotivating. I'm about halfway through the game now, and it's just a struggle. I do want to get it done, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get it done in the time. But I'm also looking at it as a challenge, right? I want to do it, and I want to go for it. But it's a great game. It's fun. Shovel Knight is also in Smash Brothers, in case you didn't know. But yeah,
I forgot about that.
Yeah, it's just costumes and stuff, but he's not a character or anything. That's Shovel Knight. Like I said, I think it's 15,000 TA for something like. Oh, what I was going to mention timely. I was going to be timely here. We now have this big controversy of all these title updates going on. But Shovel Knight, which actually adds so each of the title updates is a new character. But they each only add, I think, 500 gamer score. And this is one of those examples of where you could definitely not get away with. That's not the right term, but it's justified to you have to play through the game with a different character. Here's an update that you can have 1,000 gamer score for, right? It's not jump on 25 enemies at this point. It's you literally have to do 10 more hours of this game. You have to go and play through it 2 or 3 times. It changes the mechanics. So, not judging, those title updates or anything like that, but I'm just saying this is the sort of thing where it's where the achievement system is you could have just easily made that title update 1,000 gamer score and it would also seem worth it, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
It does
Yeah.
make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it looks like this game is pretty tough to complete. 161 people out of 20,000.
Oh yeah, it's kind of infamous. I know it's a difficult completion. I've never played it, but I know it is.
It used to be just Shovel Knight, and then they added on the Treasure Trove.
So I think Treasure Trove, so it was called Shovel Knight. I don't know what the Treasure Trove means necessarily, but they started adding on these extra characters, and then so they, for whatever reason, they just renamed it. Not sure why. I do have the physical version though, which is I think it's just Shovel Knight on the disc. But
So I see.
Oh, really?
The speed
I
run
think so. Could be wrong.
is 90 minutes. That sounds obviously
Yes,
you're gonna have to play the
30, yep.
game a whole bunch. But do you feel like that's something that you would eventually get from kind of natural playthroughs, just learning the secrets, or do you have to use video guides to see shortcuts that you might not have noticed before or something like that to prepare you for the speed run?
I'm about halfway through my speedrun right now, but it's not a thing where you need crazy. I don't think you need crazy glitch sort of stuff to get through it. I think because I'm going for the no death run at the same time, that will automatically sort of, I don't want to say automatically get it, but pretty close.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm 40% through, I'd say, and I'm at 30 minutes right now. So of course, the further you go into the game, the longer the levels get. But not having done it before, I would just say that it's not like you need to look up speedrunning videos. You just sort of need to get a good run and get through the level without sort of backtracking for any reason.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's doable. So
I just looked at the wrong game.
are you looking up?
I'm looking for Shovel Knight the speed runs on YouTube to see what games don't click it. And I accidentally typed in Hollow Knight.
Oh yeah,
dear.
those are
a little
those are
different. Yeah,
very different games. Yeah.
Very different games. Okay,
One has a shovel. So there you go.
Well, the speed runs are very similar in 40-ish minutes.
Yeah, that makes sense. I can see somebody doing it that quick. Yeah.
So if they're doing it 40 minutes, 90 minutes should be simple. It's a lot of extra time. So if you said this, I'm sorry I didn't hear. But for all the DLC or with the new characters, is it a new campaign or is it just new character and you're just going through the same thing?
So for mine, I haven't started. I've actually held off on starting the other characters just because I'm very familiar with how Shovel Knight handles and the whole idea of the other characters is that it switches it up, right? Changes the mechanics. So I purposely haven't played them, but from what I understand, it's mostly the same campaign. You play through the same levels, but either they might be in a different order, or just because of the mechanics of the characters, you have to approach each platforming section or combat section differently, because the characters themselves are very different. So
okay, that's cool then. So it's just a fresh take on the same game.
yeah, exactly, kind of like a remix, right? Yeah, I think that's the idea.
Anybody have anything else to say on Shovel Knight?
If he's in Smash, it must suck. I don't know.
He's
But
just
alright.
a trophy, so
He doesn't have a sword, though. That's good.
It's a type of sword if you sharpen it.
Ooh.
All right. Michelle, what game have you been playing?
Well, I as always, when I'm about to record, realize, like, as I've stated on earlier episodes, that most of what I'm focusing on right now is working on my completion percentage. So I am ready to come on whenever I record with you all. And then I'm like, oh, I haven't played anything new. So with that as a little sidebar before I get into what I'm talking about this week, I actually finished my first run of the Oregon Trail with our party. I wanted to give you a real quick update with what happened. So we were going through the trail, and for the longest time, Elle was hurt. And then he finally got healthy, and the rest of us were hurt because I guess we were carrying him so much that we just, had a hard time with this. And the stress of this led
jokes write themselves.
Right. And there's cool stuff they added, right? So at some point, Koosh and myself got into a fight, and I had to pick which one had to leave the party. So I chose myself. Like, okay, this one's probably on me, my bad. Nice. So I left the party. Shortly after that, Elle, who is now totally healthy while everyone else is dealing with all these issues, a wagon ran over his leg and broke it, which sucks, and he immediately died. Couldn't handle the pressure. He was out. The party gets to the next town.
Wow.
It's realistic.
I'm at the next town and rejoined the party. So Elle's dead. I'm back with you guys, and the three of us made it to Oregon. It was great. So, sorry.
Nice.
But anyway, that was fun. Like, they actually I did a side quest thing in there where I had to bring all these musicians together, and you open up a whole new class, the musician, which wasn't even in the old Oregon Trail. So it sucks that its price point is so high, and it sucks that there are 3 unobtainable achievements in it. So both of those are knocks against the game. People probably won't play it, but for a game I can play easily on my Surface, I don't know. Anyway, it was fun, but that was the end of the AH101 host party trip to Oregon.
3 of us made it.
And I'm telling you, the fact that Elle basically had the Oregon Trail equivalent of skinning his knee and died. I know a broken leg isn't skinning one's knee, but it was so appropriate somehow. I don't know. We couldn't carry you all the way there, but most of the way there. It's about 3/4.
Amazing.
So R.I.P. in peace.
Right. So, I mean, if anyone wants me to do a party next time with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or whatever, and I'll give an update, I'll do that. But putting that one to
that
bed.
needs to come to Game Pass.
So I fired up today a game called Stay. So Stay is a game that had originally been released on Steam and came a little bit later to Xbox, I believe. It's not tracked by a whole lot of people on TA because it's never been in Game Pass. But it's interesting. The game's main character is a man named Quinn. You find out fairly early on that Quinn is a former therapist of some sort, like a psychologist of some sort. And he has been kidnapped and put into this room. And the only thing in the room is a computer that functions. So he gets on the computer and he's typing, "Hey, is anyone out there?" And you, the gamer, are the person he reaches. And so at intervals throughout the game, you're given prompts to help Quinn try to get out of his predicament. So there'll be something like, "There's a door here. What should I do?" And your choices are to tell him to either look through the keyhole or to try to kick the door down. And this will impact how other things play out throughout the game. Now, I'm early on in it. I did no research on the game before jumping in because I think this is one of those games where a single playthrough is not super long, but there are multiple paths you can take. So I wanted to just play through it fresh. There are some indicators on the screen that I don't quite understand. So in the left side of the screen, the Quinn is being live streamed to you. So it's all pixel art. So you can kind of see when he's, rubbing his head or he's looking down and typing. But there are also little circles underneath, a yellow, a gray, a blue, and a red. And as you answer questions, they'll raise in value or lower. I don't know what any of that means. And I don't know if I will eventually be indicated what that means. But I believe those choices affect the ending. The chapters are very short. And at the end of every chapter, there's one question where you see what the community response was, similar to what you would have seen in a Walking Dead game. And yeah, I mean, it's intriguing. I don't really know where it's going to wind up. When you start Stay, it tells you right away that the game plays completely in real time. So when you are out of the game, the time is still counting. So I turned on the game really briefly before we started to record. and it has two counters, a red counter that says time away and a green counter that says time stayed. And my red counter was higher than my time stayed counter because I had spent more time out of the game than in it. I'm not 100% sure how that affects things. I imagine it affects some outcomes and some achievements. So it's got some cool little hooks to it. There are puzzles within there that are not really explained. So I guess you can kind of equate that to like a Myst, where you'll just come up upon a puzzle and you kind of know you have to solve it, but you're not exactly sure what you're solving for. So that's, I'm early on yet. I don't know if that's going to be a positive or a negative to it. It depends on how obtuse those puzzles are. But it's definitely an intriguing game. I'm not sure where it'll wind up. The only research I did was a how long to beat query on it and said it takes about 6.5 or 7 hours because there's no time estimate on TA yet. But I'm curious to see where it winds up. If you're able to help Quinn get out of this predicament, if you learn more about Quinn, if that's impacted in any way based on your answers. But yeah, I'm enjoying the little test of it I've had. I'm definitely looking forward to playing more of Stay and seeing where things wind up.
Now, I have a question for you, Michelle.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't sound at all like you're playing like a cat. As a cat.
As a cat? It's
I
funny, actually.
I got you.
I know Stray is the PS5 game that came out that won some critical reception. You do actually have a cat that shows up pretty early on in Stay.
Can you pet it?
And, well, you are the guy on the other side, or guy or girl or whatever, on the other side of the computer screen. So you're not actually in there interacting with anything. You only interact with Quinn. But you can see Quinn interact with the cat. And the cat's got a collar on. And the collar has like a countdown timer on it. So the understanding you have is this cat's basically there to let you know how much time you have before something happens. But what? We don't know. We have to play through the experience to figure that out. And I don't know if the cat's going to have any greater purpose than being there for that. But yeah, so there is a cat in Stay, but it's not the cat from Stray. Not to be confusing to anybody.
Ah, dang. So what brought this to your attention? Sorry if you mentioned it before, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, this is very random.
I won it in a Twitter giveaway.
Oh, all right.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay,
it was
then.
just one of those, like, it's a puzzle adventure game according to TA, and the little bit I knew about it was it has sort of, horror elements to it, which I tend to like survival horror type games. It's been on my random to-do list for months because it's something I put in there to just sort of pad out the collection because it's got some fairly high ratio achievements. And this was finally the month where, like, back to our question we had at the top of the show, I just pressed A. So now I've started this game that I've been sitting on for months. So, and so far so good. Like, I'm looking forward to getting back to it, either once we're done recording or sometime tomorrow.
And it should be noted that you might want to use just a little bit sharper inflection. This is not, the game is Stay. Not just
Stay.
Yeah.
Oh, right, yes,
like
it
you're
is all
talking
caps.
to a dog. Yeah, so,
it is all caps. That is a fair point. And insofar as the achievements, again, I haven't looked at the list, but I know nothing is marked as unobtainable. 40 people have completed it out of the 1,400 or so starters. But there really isn't a whole lot of other information. That said, there are guides on Steam for the game. So I think...
Oh, really?
I think the approach is play it once, just see how it goes, and then hit up a guide to clean up stuff. But I get the feeling it's a very completable game. It's just going to take some time to, sit through a guide and figure out exactly where you are.
The rarest achievement in the game is called Trophy Mogul, and it is for collecting all the other achievements.
Oh, no.
And it has a 666 TA score right now. So there you go.
Whoa.
Yeah, and
Proof that collect all other achievements are evil.
well, at least I believe with this, I don't think that you can get all the achievements and stay in one playthrough. And maybe there's a way with some save scumming type method, but I think the intention of Stay is for you to play through it a couple different times and try a couple different paths and see how things change as you do that.
It looks like it. Like, if you were to look at the secret achievements, actually, never mind. No, I just noticed what the achievement names were. So yeah, there's definitely alternate endings.
Right. And when you see a game with a ton of missables, it's either collectibles and this doesn't have the collectible flag, or it's different endings or things where you have to choose one option or the other. Ergo, you're going to miss one of them on that playthrough.
So going back to something that you said about having random puzzles or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
As you're talking about the game like I usually do, when it's a game I know nothing about, I always like to watch clips.
Mm-hmm.
There is a clip that I, for the life of me, cannot figure out what is happening. And it is just a peacock sitting on a brick wall and the player selecting certain bricks. And when it does, it's disappearing or something. I don't know. It's like a 7-second clip. A 15-second clip. I have no idea what's going on.
And neither do I. And at the very beginning of Stay, there's a warning about this game deals with anxiety and depression. And so I imagine as you read through the dialogue, like if you do more than just play with the guides, you pick the right answers. If you actually like read through and it's going to be one of those games that people either find very pretentious because it's trying to make all these kind of real high concept points, or it's actually going to kind of stick with you because it's like, oh, I can associate with this sort of thing. So I find all of that intriguing. Gameplay wise, there's not a whole lot of gameplay to it. There are these puzzles that show up and it's choose A, B, or C as a response. And you can pick A, B, or C and see how the full response will be typed out, because the responses as you're prompted will be very brief, basically like yes or no. When you pick it, it's going to show you the whole way that response will be typed out to Quinn. So sometimes, like, and I'm sure you've experienced with Walking Dead, because I have, where I'll pick an answer and the way that I think that answer would actually be spoken is not the way they speak it in the game. It's like got some totally other connotation.
Yes.
So you do get to see the full text that'll be presented to Quinn before you hit enter. So I like that element. But
that's nice.
Yeah, it's intriguing. And it's kind of fun to play a game where I have no preconceived notions and nobody else really has anything else they can tell me about it. So, I'm planning to hopefully get through at least one playthrough before the next time I record and, be able to have an update on whether it lived up to any of this promise, that this intrigue, or if it kind of just tapered off. There is one thing that I found a little annoying in the game. Oh, and I just want to state real quick, Mental's completed it. So I know if I have any questions, I can reach out to Mental. Maybe I'll offer him a raspberry Pop-Tart if that, helps him be more willing to be helpful.
Oh, boy.
But I forgot the point I was going to make because I had to mention raspberry Pop-Tarts. But yeah, I forgot. So anyway, never mind any of that. I'm curious to see where... Oh, one little thing that kind of was annoying. So again, Quinn is typing to you. Oh, right. Quinn makes a typo early. And actually does, as I know I do, asterisk correction. So he types like JSUT asterisk just, like, okay, I'm correcting myself, which I thought was kind of cool because that's kind of a normal typing cadence. But they made sure to make him make a mistake like every 6 lines. And that's one of those little things where, like, the first time it felt kind of natural, which feels like nice because that interaction is like, okay, I can see this happening. But then after a while, you're either making mistakes and you just stop correcting them, or, you only make a typo or 2. But
sounds like he types like me.
Maybe so. He has to look down at the keyboard, so I'm guessing he's hunting and pecking.
God, what when does this take place? 1972? It's wild. Okay.
Listen, kids today mostly hunt and peck. None of them actually know how to type. They know how to text. But yeah, Stay is very interesting. I look forward to exploring it further.
336 star rating on TA, and surprisingly 1,300 people have played this. I honestly thought this was going to be a lot lower, by like 1,000.
Yeah, I'm surprised it's that many people
super
too.
Obscure, but still a little bit of obscure. 40 completions.
Yeah, I feel like it may have been on a pretty deep sale a couple times, so maybe it's not too hard to get on your tag. The game is broken up into very short chapters. There's a puzzle at the end of the first chapter, and that's the first achievement. So you don't have to play very long before you wind up kind of committed to it in that way. So I can imagine maybe I think it's been on sale before, so I could see people picking it up and trying it out, and it's just there. But that would also explain the relatively high ratio.
All right. Elle, what game would you like to talk about?
All right. Well, unlike Michelle, I wanted to talk about a game that we've talked about a million times on the podcast, which is Vampire Survivors.
What's new?
I know. Well, last we
Is it
left...
new DLC out yet?
I'm just getting to that. Oh, well, last week I was excited because I had gotten to the 20-minute mark, and since then I have
so cute. That was so cute. You got
I know it was adorable, but right after that I did not take Kenny's advice and I went right to the second stage, the library, and on my first try I did the 30 minutes. So it was
oh dang, nice.
Yeah, it was a really nice feeling. So it does all kind of come together once you get a little stronger. I did what some people suggested I do, which is just put the greed on, which is just get gold multipliers, and then eventually you could just buy all the stuff. And yeah, it was a ton of fun. You know, once your axe evolves and you're just throwing it everywhere, and you just feel godly. Yeah.
Oh, buddy, you've seen nothing yet.
Well, yeah, I see what people are talking about now. It did take several hours to get to that point. I will concede. Maybe some people finished it faster. I don't know, or did the 30 minutes a little quicker than I did. But once I did,
oh no, it takes a couple.
Yeah, I saw what it was all about, and then I went back to the forest and did a 30-minute run there, and then I went to the third stage and promptly got destroyed quickly. So now I have to figure out what I want to go for. Oh, the other thing, of course, is achievements. So yeah, once I did that library run,
a lot of them.
I unlocked 10 achievements. I'm like, oh right, 10 achievements in one run. It's so awesome.
That's also the best part of that game.
Yeah,
is you are constantly unlocking something.
And not only are you unlocking achievements, each one of the achievements unlocks something in game as well, which is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's a new character or a new, I saw new features being added to the main menu, like new options to choose from and stuff like that. So, like a bestiary was added, stuff like that. Without giving too much away, like I thought that was awesome.
Oh, there's so much that gets added.
There was just a lot of stuff getting added. Yeah, and I'm just excited to keep going with it now.
Yeah, and
it's addicting.
We're getting a new DLC soon.
Yeah, today.
Oh, is it today? Oh my god, I'm so excited.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, today. Right.
I just saw
I didn't notice. Guys, I have to go.
It comes out today.
Thanks for having
people
me.
Listening.
I will see you next time. No.
Yeah, it comes out.
For people listening, it comes out today.
Oh, time travel. Come on. All right.
Yes, Proulx, pay attention.
I mean, of course, yes. I'll go play it right now.
Oh, I can't wait.
Much like the other one, it was
best $2 you spend.
$2. Yeah, but how many achievements did they add the last time? Only a few?
More than a few.
No, it was only a couple. I mean, comparatively, of course, but I don't think it was like
Chaotic One added 3 achievements.
Oh, really? It was only 1 or 3. I thought it was more than that.
Tiny update, 2 achievements.
Yeah, Moonspell, which was the other paid for one, that was 17 achievements. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of. I'm thinking Moonspell.
Okay, so now there's 162 total.
Well, now not there's 23 more about to be added.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So that's awesome. No, that's great.
I'm so excited. Reason to dive back into this game.
My only
and I will
complaint
also
about
say
Vampire Survivors is that it's beautiful on cloud until about the 12-minute mark, and then it just pieces out. There's just too much happening.
Yeah.
It's so sad because those first 5-10 minutes, you're like, okay, this is good. This is holding up real good. I can do this. And as soon as the game starts to really get good, it's done.
Funny story about that. When I was in Universal earlier this year, while I was waiting for a ride, I was playing Vampire Survivors on cloud. I had that same experience for, first couple of minutes. It's like, oh yeah, this is doable. And then my poor phone, man, it got to that 12, 15 minute mark, and boy, did it start getting hot. It did not appreciate that game.
I know
you on the rides, like playing.
I was going to say, I know this is not what we talk about normally, but because I had already completed the game when the mobile port came out, I still played it, and it's great. Like it doesn't. That game does not. That experience is because of the streaming and xCloud, but the actual mobile port is fantastic, and you can actually play through it just fine with no issues. So I wish they'd make a Android and iOS stack. That'd be great.
Oh, could you imagine? PC stack. Yeah. Let's go.
Stacks on stacks. Let's go.
Yeah, they haven't done that in a while. Like they had the Wordament thing and
Minecraft,
Solitaire, and stuff like that. But yeah, where's our phone stuff?
It's because they're moving into the whole streaming everywhere thing. So that specific console type thing is going to be, like the joke with Minecraft, where there's like Minecraft on every possible platform. It's all just going to be Game Pass, cloud gaming, and just one version. That's where we're headed.
All right, we'll see. What I was going to say is that I did do a playthrough on my laptop, and it worked just fine. And it's play anywhere; it just keeps your progress. For those on the go. Still haven't done the whole cloud thing on the phone like you guys, but I don't think I don't want to monopolize my phone for that long. I haven't quite done that yet, but it was funny. My wife walked by; she's like, "Is this Castlevania?" I'm like, well, it definitely wears the influences on its sleeve. And as you go deeper and deeper into I saw 3 stages, so just the enemies are lifted straight from Castlevania. A lot of them are. Just the animations, even. It's definitely heavily influenced by, especially the floor chicken. Classic.
Santa water.
Don't sleep on Santa water. That's for sure.
That one I don't get. I'll have to
definitely a bad Google translation or something.
I'll have to Google it. Oh, is that what you think it is?
Ask Jeeves about that or something.
Oh, I get it now. All right. Is that like dog? Yeah. So that was Vampire Survivors. More talk. Sorry about that. If you're sick of hearing about that, it's just I got excited about it. Now I know what everyone else is feeling.
It's the new Gears pop.
It's the new moving out. It's Vampire Survivors. Real quick, I wanted to talk about Forza Horizon 4. It took over a year, but the Encore achievement looks to be working again. We'll find out if it actually pops in about 3 more weeks. This is the end of the first week. So if all works correctly, that's working again. And this was presumed to not be fixed, or they didn't care to fix it. And then they did. Stuff seems to be tracking correctly so far. So anybody who's interested in that, we have a opt-in channel called Forza, shockingly enough. And if Mental will always help you do whatever you... No, Mental did help me out a lot, though. There's a whole crew in there of people that are very knowledgeable about Forza. Alex R. Davies, there's a pin about what to do and what not to do in Encore. Some people suggest not to go into the DLC because that can mess things up, but I have no idea if that's accurate.
Well,
still.
That sucks. I already did that.
So I think Ahizo was saying if you go into the DLC, sometimes your photo challenge can go away. So just double check. Make sure you don't end your session in the DLC. And don't buy a home there. Or don't go to your home there. I don't know. But if it messes up, then you could just try again, I guess, in a few weeks, assuming that it works. So I'm glad they fixed that. Because between that breaking and Forza 5 launching pretty buggily, I was put off on that series for a little while. But going back in, it's still, beautiful. And yeah.
It's a gorgeous game.
I'm just not good at it. Like, I feel like when I'm playing other racing games, you can catch up from when you're behind. You'll see a crash happen and you can kind of take advantage of that. Not in this game. If you're behind, you're pretty much behind. You have to start off ahead and stay ahead, as far as I've seen. Maybe I'm wrong about that. But you can rewind when you're playing solo. So, fortunately, you have to take advantage of that. But you do have to do some hard difficulty stuff to get the challenges all finished. The summer playlist.
Do you have it set on easy?
Well, normally I do, but there's some that you have to do on hard, like I was saying. So, but there are tuned cars that you can get. So if you have the money, you get the tuned cars, and those give you the best chance of winning.
Well, money's easy to come by. If you connect your account to Mixer and just stream for a while, you'll get that like crazy.
The funny part is I remember when you first did that. I'm like, what are you doing? You're like, getting money.
Showing everyone my cool Jurassic Park Ford Raptor.
Mixer.
Forza Horizon games are great. They're another game that's like, it's just going to live on my Xbox because every so often I just jump in. It's like, let's play a couple of races.
They're just huge. They're huge. Take up a lot of room.
External hard drive.
No, then they're slow.
Transfer. It takes like 2 minutes.
Oh, yeah, 2 minutes. I still haven't figured out cheap internal storage options yet. Anyway, that's some Forza Horizon 4 and some Vampire Survivors. Those games are fun. And achievements. Yay.
They are. They need a multiplayer Vampire Survivors.
Ooh, how would that work?
It is pluralized. Survivors.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. You should just... There's a lot of characters. Yeah, co-op. Not split screen co-op. Unless they do it where you can explore on your own. Not the tethered kind. All right.
Make it tethered, more enemies, bigger bosses, something like that.
Now you're thinking.
Well, that was the game showcase. Let's move on into some sales. All right. Sales this week. We have the spring sale is pretty much the big thing. Like there's some other things that went on sale that's not part of that, but let's be realistic. Spring sale is what matters. And I picked out a couple of games. But quite honestly, like so often when I look through sales, it's like just get Game Pass because so much of what goes on sales in Game Pass. So it's like either trying to recommend the same stuff that we've said before or Game Pass.
Right.
But
are you not suggesting Forza Horizon 5 for $50?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Sorry.
A couple of games I'm gonna recommend. I feel like it's been a long time since they've ever been mentioned. Someone will probably remind me that like someone mentioned like 2 months ago or something. But first off, A Kingdom for Kathleen's and A World for Kathleen's simulation games management. They are old XBLA type games. They're both $2.50 down from $10. These games are great. If you like the management type games, they're so much fun. They're super relaxing, calm, easy music. Literally nothing stressful about these games. And it's one of those games that because it came out in the Xbox 360 era, your avatar is actually the character that you use in game. So I've always liked the avatars and like Dash of Destruction and Doritos Crash Course and whatnot. They're always fun to use. So being able to use them in the Kathleen's games, they're great.
Very casual fun. Those are just real nice, easygoing time.
Mm-hmm. And I know I personally have good memories because I would always have like music going on in the background, whatever it is that I was listening to at the time while playing these games. Because they're super relaxing. Next game is Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. I know I've talked about this before. I'm a big Dragon Ball fan. I'm bringing this one up because I believe this is the lowest this game has ever been. And it's funny because I was just talking to friends of mine about this game. I'm like, it just hasn't hit that sweet spot yet. It right now is $15 down from $60. I think that's the magic number of where I'm going to pull the trigger for this game. I've been wanting to play this. Game looks amazing. If you're a Dragon Ball Z fan or you like the fighting games, the animes, I hear great things about this.
I mean, it's less like... So I was interested in this too, but it's less of a fighting, right? I thought it was more of an action game. Is that wrong?
I think it's like an adventure open world-ish, but it also has like the fighting style to it. It's definitely not like Dragon Ball Fighters or the Xenoverse games. It's less of that.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then fourth game I'm going to recommend something I've never heard of, and I saw this going through the list. King of Seas. It's a game that released last May. It's a naval vehicular combat game. I don't know much about it. Like I said, I've never heard of it. It's $5 down from $25. And when I was looking through the clips and pictures and whatnot on TA, it reminded me of a more modernized Age of Booty. If you guys have played that, the old XBLA game. I love that game. That game was a lot of fun. And having something similar to that, yeah, I think I might check this one out as well. Once again, not a lot of people have played this. Like 1,100 people have actually played it. 25 have completed it. So there's that. It is completable. How easy or how hard, I have no idea. Proulx, what would you like to recommend?
Unsurprisingly, I'm going to recommend a Star Trek game. Star Trek Prodigy, Supernova. He's, I never saw that. I think it's his first time being on sale. So it's normally a $50 game, down to $20. I honestly would say 20 is probably a little much, but it's way better than 50, because that's how numbers work. So, it's a pleasant little game. I think I spent about 12 hours on it. So if you need some Star Trek in your life and you want a decent game, you could do worse. So that's what I'm going to recommend.
Wow, not a lot of starters on this one.
No.
That's kind of surprising. I thought there would be more. Just Star Trek being just the IP that it is.
Also, humble brag, I was the second player to complete the game in the world, but no big deal.
Wow.
No big deal at all.
Are there still
Michelle,
are there still two starters, Kenny?
Stop it. Hell, you're giving away my secret.
Excuse me, Proulx, but TA says you are the third to complete it.
Oh.
This guy. Okay, hang on. Whoa. Let's all back up a little bit here, okay? Let's reverse our thrusters, and we'll talk about this. I looked at this guy earlier. This guy has...
Wait a minute. Hold up.
No, stop.
Hold up. No, go ahead. No,
I know what you're going to say. Doesn't matter.
No. Whoa. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, I looked at this guy earlier, right? He's second on the leaderboard, but he did not complete it before I did. And he also played it on PC. And he only played it for an hour and a half. So I'm calling shenanigans because I was the second to complete it. So I think he probably had help. I'll just say that. I think he might have had help. So
I'm actually going to defend you here. I wasn't gonna dispute what you're saying, because everyone here has 10 plus hours into it. This dude has an hour and 2 minutes in it. So something that fishy is going on there. And
all of his stuff's online. So I'm going to say, I'll call shenanigans. I'm not going to call. I won't say his gamer tag TGOIOKDI, but he, whatever, because that's not pronounceable. That's not a word.
Exactly.
Nobody likes you or believes you. That's all I'm saying. But whatever, it's fine. I'll still claim number 2, and I'll be happy with that. So that's all.
Yeah, I'll give you that one. Where's that report button? How do I report this? All right, and Michelle, what would you like to recommend?
I would like to recommend a game that I believe has been recommended before, but I think this is actually the lowest price it's been available at, and that game is Dust: An Elysian Tale. Dust is a really wonderful little Metroidvania. It's an Xbox 360 title, which I know, it's got 400 gamer score, and that makes people less excited and whatever. But it's so good, and it's only $2.99, which is a real steal. I think, according to Dave, previously it had been on sale for $3.74. So it's coming further and further down. $3 if you've never played Dust and Elysian Tale is excellent. It's also unfortunately not backwards compatible, which I know presents its own problems because booting up a 360 is a real pain. But it is really good. It is totally worth that price if you have the access to play it. 100% recommend Dust and Elysian Tale.
Yeah, I'll be one of those people. The not backwards compatible is a turnoff.
Did it ever come out with an Xbox One version or no?
No.
Oh, bummer.
No, you'd know.
I know there's a lot of people say good things about this. So, what game would you like to recommend?
Now, Michelle.
Yes.
Why would our community spend $2.99 on Dust when they could get 9 Monkeys of Shaolin and get a game that you could just do console commands and get the completion without playing the game? I mean, that's what our community wants. That's what our community craves. I mean, we are an achievement podcast, Kenny, so we are contractually obligated to mention games like this, Cooking Simulator for Windows, which is on Game Pass, that I tried just for science. Totally not on my tag. I mean, it is, but we're obligated to talk about these things. I don't know how people figure out to stick a keyboard into an Xbox game and find stuff, but this is the new meta of the meta, is trying to break these games and see what makes them tick.
Someone will always find a way to cheat.
I mean, this is normally a 6 to 8 hour beat 'em up game. I don't think it's a bad game. 3.5 stars. But yeah, that spring sale has a lot of good stuff on it, but like you said, a lot of Game Pass stuff, a lot of stuff we've seen before.
Yeah, same things tend to go on sale. Can only recommend the Batman game so many times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the BioShock collection and yada yada yada. Yeah, all good
Injustice.
stuff. Yeah.
All right. Well, if you don't want to spend any money, as always, we have Games of Gold, which has games in them. As of right, well, for the next 3 days. So if you're listening to this the day it releases, consider this your last chance to snag Lamentum before it is gone. That disappears April 15th. But then when that goes away, Peaky Blinders Mastermind comes in until May 15th. And then also all throughout of April, we have Out of Space Couch Edition. And grab those games. They're Games of Gold.
These are all your favorite
and then
genres, Kenny. Simulation.
Yeah, I mean,
stealth, strategy, the 3 S's.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the at just genres alone, yeah, there's some stuff here I would probably like Out of Space or Peaky Blinders, but now when I get into the actual game, who knows? That's a different story.
I wonder what Couch Edition means. Is there like Connect Edition? Generally playing
this one is Couch Co-op Edition.
I think so. All right.
And then for Game Pass, we're a little light on Game Pass news. Available now is Ghostwire Tokyo and NHL 23. And then available Tuesday, Minecraft Legends.
You know what?
And then also...
I gotta
go ahead.
Tell you about this jerk thing they did.
What? Who?
They.
Them. Foo.
Who is
Don't
they?
you know?
They.
Them.
Yeah, the powers that be. The man.
Bill
told
Gates
us all that
himself.
Bill Gates emailed us telling us that Iron Brigade was going to be delisted. So if you want it, you better buy it. And while you're at it, buy that DLC. And sure enough, it came to Game Pass with the DLC for free. So a lot of people,
Even better,
including myself, bought it for no reason. Luckily, it's only like $5, but ugh.
Well, it sounds like their plan worked.
It totally worked.
More games should try it.
Can't.
Looking at you, Quantum Break.
Not a big Minecraft fan, but I am curious to see what this Legends game is all about.
I'm curious about it.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe that'll be the next Thursday night game.
Sorry, it's my Friday night game, which means I'll be playing it with other
really?
people. So we're going to try it. Me and X and Jay and Rocker, Mr. Rocker Dude as well.
But you're playing. But you're playing that real fun
right
dungeon
crew.
We're playing the other
Try that one.
Minecraft
Yeah.
game, yes. And we need a break from that slog, so we are looking forward to whatever Legends is.
You can be the guinea pigs.
You know what?
All right. So
I was actually going to ask, only because I just saw I looked at the trailer for Loop Hero. Do you guys know anything about this? I only watched the 2-minute trailer. I don't know much about it, but it looked fun. It's like from what I can gather, it looks like a JRPG roguelite kind of a game, I think, is what's going on. I'm not sure if you guys have looked into it at all.
Well,
okay, that is not the game I was thinking of. Then
I
thought I knew what it was.
I'm pretty sure Kronos talks highly of this game.
I did see a card in the game, so I was out.
Yep.
I was
There's
like,
cards.
nope, I'm done. There's
For
cards
that
in it.
Reason I'm out.
But it looked interesting. I thought that was, something to...
Oh, wow. Yeah, this I have not seen. This is not what I thought Loop Hero was.
I will also say that Loop Hero looks just like the Guitar Hero logo. They know what they're doing.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah.
Well, when your name is like that, you know what you're doing.
Yeah. Smart.
Where were we? Oh, also leaving on April 15th. So last chance to either complete and or buy these games before they leave Game Pass. We have Life is Strange, True Colors, Moonglow Bay, Panzer Corps 2, Rainbow Six Extraction, the Dungeon of Nahalbek, The Long Dark, and The Rift Breaker. All of them on cloud console and PC. As always, grab them now while they are 20% off or wait for a sale in about 6 weeks or less. And you could probably get them even cheaper. And none of these actually look like games with gold games. They all look decent, so probably not going to get them there. All right. Well, if that, let's get into Brad Camp. Take it away, Michelle.
All right. In completions, Fista Roboto has reached 200 completed games. Pexi Balau has reached 300 completed games. Whispering Clown has reached 450 completed games. Ruteric is at 500 completed games. It is joined there by our very own Kushmoose, who has also reached 500 completed games. Hey, Proulx! You hit a completed games milestone.
Oh,
we're all very
my
proud
God.
of you.
I did.
1,000 completed games. So what was number 1,000?
Oh, well, let me tell you. It was this gem called whatever the East Asia stuff games were that had those title updates.
Oh, boo.
It was a recompletion,
Oh, what a waste.
so it doesn't even count.
What a waste of a
It was a
milestone.
waste. It was
I don't even
absolutely a waste. Yeah, totally a waste. So, but thank you for the congratulations.
Of course. Moving on, we have more overachievers. Toadstyle Venom has reached 1,300 completed games. Snipe by a Girl has somehow reached both 1,400 and 1,450 completed games in the past week. Maybe. Thrash Forever?
More Aegis off.
Probably. A lot of
Yes.
recompletions, I would imagine. And then Thrash Forever has reached 2,250 completed games. Congratulations, everyone.
Wow.
In streaks, I'm going to go next. LSOC, or ELSOC, it's one or the other. He is currently on a 50-day win streak. Heizo, 100-day win streak. Jay Bloch, my good Friday buddy, who's going to be playing Minecraft Legends with me, 100-day win streak. Toadstyle Venom, again, a 100-day win streak. Redemption Denied on a 200-day win streak. He's not a great gamer. Just give him some slack. Maybe he'll catch up at some point.
Wow.
Johnny Delicious on a 250-day win streak. Scaravis, I guess is what that is. 500 days.
Scaravis.
Okay, all right. Sadik on a 600-day achievement win streak.
Yeah.
Z Drunken Monkey Z is on 650-day achievement win streak. Ben L72 on a 750-day achievement win streak. And Northern Lass on a 950-day achievement win streak.
Man, it's nice hearing someone else fumble through gamer tags. It's not just me. All right, so now listen to me fumble through these gamer tags. Living Legends has hit 500,000 gamer score. Matthew00 has hit 900,000 gamer score along with Dude with the Face. Isret 102 has hit 1.3 million gamer score. Toad Style Venom 1.4 million gamer score, and Sniped by a Girl has hit 2 million gamer score.
Whew.
The 2 million club is the new 1 million.
Thanks, East Asia
Whoa.
Soft. Possibly.
Oh, she did well.
No, you
do
don't
wonder-
get there just with East Asia Soft titles for sure.
Oh no, I'm not saying
Yeah.
that to be discouraging.
I do wonder if there's
That is a crazy milestone no matter how you get there.
wonder if there's a club. How many ladies are in the 2 million club? Not sure if she's the first or not. I'll have to ask her. In leaderboards, Bastion Reader is now third in the USA completed games leaderboard for shoot 'em ups and the top 10 overall in completed games leaderboard for shoot 'em ups. You should tell us which games you like to play. Can't tell. Chewie on Ice is in the top 200 of the Gamerscore leaderboard for Adventure. Rutrek is in the top 200 of the England Tier Difference leaderboard. Jay Blach, who you're going to be playing Minecraft Legends with, is now in the top 20 of the Nova Scotia leaderboard for first-person shooters. By the way, it looks like that game is 2 to 4 player online co-op, but up to 8 players multiplayer.
Yeah,
So I
it
guess
definitely seems
there's
like a multiplayer game.
PvP.
So. Yeah,
All right,
yeah.
we're all going to have to
I'm so intrigued by that game.
We'll
we're
see.
going to we're going to have to what does Freem like to say? Co-populate, co-habituate.
Take your Friday night crew and
Yeah.
move them over here
Oh,
to Thursday.
exactly.
Never the
This is
twain shall meet, I say.
Prohibulate. Sir Polygon is in the top 10 of his Georgia TA leaderboard for equestrian sports. Very interesting. And Sniped by the Girl, that's what I'm going to say, is back at it again. Top 100 of the Achievements 1 leaderboard, top 5 in all of Canada, and second in Ontario. Nicely
Nice.
done.
Fun fact, Ontario is in Canada. I can confirm.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Really?
Yeah, it's true. I work for a Canadian company, so I know these things.
So, more fun facts. Does anybody by any chance know how many people are in the Million Club?
Oh, at this point, I'm going to guess
Or any guesses?
800
guess.
people.
Okay.
800
Now,
sounds.
Michelle, what would
Yes.
be your guesses?
Was this based on people that are tracked on TA?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I'm just looking at the TA leaderboard. I have the numbers in front of me of how many people, according to this, as of recording, because I'm sure by the time this is released, more will hit it. But
We got podcasted for everything.
there's like for instance, there's someone's here with 999,999. So
Oh, he's waiting.
I'm-
boy. Yeah, go ahead, Michelle.
No, go ahead. You go.
I think it's closer to 1,800. Maybe even 2,000.
whoa, that's a jump.
It
Wow, that's a lot. I'm gonna go. I think it's like
Pick
I think it's
one,
over
pick
1,000 by now.
Price is
I know
Right
I'm not
rules.
doing the Price is Right rule. I'm gonna guess 1,200.
Bob?
Okay.
Kenny, what's your guess?
Well, if we were going by Price is Right rules, Proulx would have it.
Yes! I called
Nicely
it!
done, Proulx.
Just
Nicely
barely
done.
it, though.
What is it? What's the actual number, though?
So the actual number is 1,124.
Wow.
I'll give it to Michelle, for sure. She's way closer
So-
than I was.
She was definitely closer.
I mean, there are those that would argue that that's not that high of a number, all things considered.
It isn't with 700,000 registered profiles or whatever it is now.
Like, if it's that easy to get
That's,
to million,
you're still way up there on the
Yeah.
leaderboard if you have 1 million.
No,
And it's still an accomplishment by all means.
granted, the leaderboard on TA has people that go all the way down to 1 as a gamer score, but the bottom person is ranked in a tie for 932,268th. So to be in the top 1,200 of almost 1 million gamers is significant, and still a very small portion of
You're
the
still
gaming
in the
population.
1%.
So how many of those
Now-
are 2 millionaires, though?
Since I was just about to ask that, since we just mentioned that, and do you guys want to
30.
give a guess on that?
I'm 100.
Michelle's
So
looking at the
top
answers.
10%. No. I could see that, like, it's just smaller portions.
1.
Wait, no, that's not true, Al. We know that's
Not
not
by a girl.
true.
Right, there are
Oh.
3 millionaires and
All right, I'll say 28.
Oh, you son of a...
What'd you say,
I
bro?
said 30. He's just trying to... he's trying to get me.
Well, once again, Proulx would win my Price is Right roll.
Oh.
There's 92. But Michelle is the closest. And now, because of course we have to, do you guys want to give a shot at how many are in the 3 million?
I'm going to say
Oh, God.
10. I'm going down by 10% each time. 1,000. Well, I know I said 1,200 first, but then 100, then 10.
Close enough.
Yeah, last I knew it was only a couple. I'm going to say 5. I'll say 5.
I'll say
L.
6.
Oh, come on.
Michelle hit it on the
Okay,
head.
good. All right. Well, Michelle wins that.
There's
She
10
wins
people.
every
Yeah,
category.
Michelle.
That's good job, Michelle. Well done.
And then obviously Redemption is in the lead with 3.7 million.
I mean,
Which-
obviously.
My God, that is a lot of gamer score.
That is
He's played a few of those games also.
Just that's
Yeah.
I can't wrap my head around that
Okay,
one.
now, Foof, let me ask you a question. How many people on TA have
Oh.
225,885 gamer score?
It's got to be a lot of people considering it's TA. I would say at 100,000.
Sorry. Just that specific number, not more than that or less than that. Just
Oh, that specific
yeah.
number. I thought you meant
yeah,
at least
no,
that. Oh God, 72. I don't
Nope.
know. I have no
Well, hang on,
idea where that number came
I'll help
from.
you out here. I'm going to help you out here. How many people have that number that live in Maryland and also enjoy Old Bay seasoning?
I'll give it one.
It is one, and it is the wonderful host of this show. So thank you, Foof.
Hell
So
yes.
thank you, Foof, very much for hosting. So,
Okay, so I just looked it up because you said that. Fun fact: 2 people have that.
Oh, really?
Me and
Wow.
Wait, I am reading that right. Yep, 2 people. Me and Insepic Ghost.
where's
We have the same.
where's that
gamer
person
score.
from?
How do I even find
You
that?
just click on them and then look at their little flag.
I don't see a flag.
Well, they don't want you to know.
They might not have registered a location.
I was gonna say I'm looking on his profile. If it's not, I don't see it. All right.
Now, wait a minute. So on the subject, I guess we have to mention this. Did you see the person who was speedrunning to 1 million gamer score as fast as possible? This
I did.
Martell
That is
person.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's up to, but I saw that he unlocked.
I think his account was
what
the
was
count
240,000.
Account was
in one day?
banned. I'm pretty sure the account was
Was
banned.
it?
Yeah. Notice of Xbox enforcement for getting too many gamer score too quickly. Too much. yeah.
That's kind of bizarre.
Right. So
What-
the reason, I don't think the reason he did this is not to impress anyone, but just to show what gamer score has become and how quickly you can get it. With that said, you still need a lot of time and a lot of money to get it. So that's why probably so few people do have it. You also probably like to play some real games in between.
Right.
Maybe that's why
It
too.
is absolutely incredibly easier to do it now than ever before. But with that being said, it is still a achievement in and of itself.
Sure. I do find it interesting, like, I'm sure.
Until Aegis has 1 million gamer score in and of itself, it's going to be an achievement.
I do find it interesting to try to lay out, though, like, people who have 1 million gamer score against what their overall TA ratio is, which I know is not an absolute indicator of anything. But you really do see that now. You see folks that have, like, a 1.23 ratio who are millionaires, along with people who have, like, a 2 ratio. So it's interesting to see all the different paths people take to get there. But no one is more or less valid than the other.
Right. Man, Xbox just needs to like buy TA so we can have the TA score on your actual gamer tag. Your ratio and all these cool stats could just be displayed there. Ugh. All right. But I think that will do it for us this week. Thank you for joining us, Proulx. It was a lot of fun.
Thanks for having me.
See you in about 2 days when we complete Halo, or at least complete what we're going to unlock together in Halo.
Until we move on to something better.
Like Back for Blood. Or something. I don't know. We'll figure that out. But as always, you can find us on all the social medias, YouTube, Twitch, Discord, Twitter. All the links for all the different places are down in the show notes. We greatly appreciate everyone that listens. Thank you to our patrons who keep the lights on, keep the show going, let us be able to do all kinds of contests and whatnot. There's also a doc in the show notes listed that has information with all of the different contests that we do run. Or you can just check it out, discord.io/AH101. We have an entire channel dedicated just for contests. But with that, thank you all for listening, and class is dismissed. See you all next week.
Goodbye, everybody.
Hello and welcome back to NeverEnding Stories, a short segment where I talk to some patrons and staff about some of the games that I have been challenging them to go back and complete the story or campaign mode for. The stuff that is sitting there lingering in their backlog and they just haven't gone back and just finished up that story. Joining me today is a true legend among men, one of my personal heroes, and somebody I truly respect and admire. And I'm not just saying that because I'm currently relying on him and two of his alts to help me with Gears of War 2 XP boosting. It's Skeptical Mario.
Hello, hi Chewie.
It's great to have you on. I feel like you have been long missing from the podcast after some fantastic segments way back in the day. It's great to have you back.
Thanks. Yeah, it's been kind of a busy year for me, and I've been taking more of a step away from gaming, but I'm still active in the community, and I'm a big fan of the podcast and everything you do.
Well, we're a big fan of everything you do, Mario. From your punning comments to your engagement with things like this nonsense. Speaking of which, what game are we going to be talking about today?
We're going to be talking about Borderlands 2 for the 360.
Yes, the classic? Is it classic? Does it
the question mark is silent.
Okay, classic. First-person shooter, role-playing, open-world dungeon crawler. Those are the official genres on TA. That's not just a word soup that I came up with. It was released back in 2012, sequel to the also very popular Borderlands, unsurprisingly. And you actually started it quite close to release, relatively speaking, in July 2013. Was it something that you were keen to start? Did it kind of show up on your radar?
I don't remember why I started it, because I was given that version as a gift from a friend who we were going to play online together. And then before we could start it, we all started the Xbox One version with the Handsome Collection. So the game was completely superfluous, and there was no reason for me to ever play it.
I see.
So I'm not sure why I did start it. Probably for a contest or something.
Well, it was 8th of July, so I'm guessing it was a bean dive, possibly.
Possibly.
If you were involved in those such such shenanigans back in the day.
I do occasionally partake.
Did you play the original?
Yes. Yes, I played through that campaign with my friends, yeah.
Okay. So you started it, and I think you only got that single achievement on the day, which is partly why I was thinking it was a bean dive. Then you came back to it a year later, got a few things out of the way in August and September 2014. Then you left it again back in 2016 for a single achievement, left it back in 2017. So you were really on and off on this game.
Well, you see that the story achievements are all so low that they would tend to show up on my RTDL. So I'm pretty sure the reason that I played it at all between 2014 and 2020 is that I just needed it for a contest, whether that's RTDL or something else.
So you strike me as, relative to quite a lot of people in the community, somewhat of a completionist.
Yes.
Your completion percentage is pretty high. Is it unusual for you to have a game like this kind of lingering in this way and only playing it for things like RTDL?
I do tend to complete the vast majority of games that I start. And after I started Borderlands, I was sure that I would get around to finishing it eventually. If not the DLC, I don't plan to buy any of the DLC since I completed that for the Handsome Edition. Sorry, my cat's on the desk. There are quite a few games that they don't really stick with me, and I don't stick with them. I just generally, play them just a little bit at a time for contests.
So that's kind of what I was getting to, which is basically, were you not enjoying it enough to see it through? Those, especially those times it may have turned up on the RTDL and just say, "Oh, I may as well just finish it." Was there a reason for that kind of?
I enjoyed the game well enough, but I think purely because I had already completed the Xbox One version, that I didn't feel like going back and replaying it. So,
especially because in doing it this way around, you actually missed out on the opportunity to basically preload the one version completion, right? Because am I right in thinking that if you had completed it on the 360 and then did the one version, you would have been able to kind of port across a lot of your
I would have wanted to, yeah. I think the save file, like porting over, is optional. I don't know if it does it automatically, but I definitely would have wanted to take advantage of that. It's not really fun to play a game more than once, and there are very few games that I would want to do that with that aren't fainters.
So if it hadn't been for something like the RTDL making you go back to it, or me giving you it on a list of games, you probably wouldn't have made a concerted effort to do it without that extra kind of external influence.
Well, like I said, I figured that I would go in and complete the base game eventually, but eventually had been like 9 years, and it was your contest that was the
tipping point.
The tipping point, yeah.
So, do you kind of enjoy, because so Borderlands is obviously known, and I think what a lot of people take from it is the story, and specifically kind of the humor around the story. Was that something that kind of you were drawn to and that kind of you enjoyed?
I do like it. I do like the story in Borderlands too. And it wasn't bad playing through the story again, but since I already knew what was coming, that was a little bit of a deterrent.
Yeah, well, there's no surprises in it, is it? If you're just literally stacking it, and it's like watching a film you've seen, again and again. You're kind of just playing it to the completion, so I guess you can almost just half pay attention to it even.
And like in a story-based game, when you take a break for more than a year at a time, it's hard to get back into it.
Yeah, so I was going to actually ask that, but obviously with the way you played it, it kind of didn't matter in this way, So, I remember the story, I already did it, and, what doesn't really matter if I'm not 100% certain exactly what's going on, because I've experienced this one already. I've let it wash over me. So you did the one version co-op. Did you do the 361 entirely solo then?
Yes.
Or did you rope anyone into doing it?
Well, I did need to get help from Heizo, I believe, for the the raid boss achievement. That was after the main storyline. For the main storyline, I didn't have any help at all.
Yeah, so that's Terramorphous, isn't it?
That's right.
The big one. Did you use any of the exploits on that, or did you just overpower it basically?
I overpowered it. with Heizo's help, he's way over leveled for it.
Yeah. So when I did Borderlands 2, I've done this as well. I did it entirely co-op, and I did it entirely carried. So I was a very low-level character, and I was playing with friends who had basically already done the main story mode, and they were going through on their like hardcore mode or their second playthrough, their like leveled up mode. So they basically just carried me through it, and it was a blast. It was a lot of fun, but I can't imagine doing it any other way, because to me...
Any other way than being carried?
No, just I enjoy the story and the humour, but I find the gameplay loop a little bit of a slog. Especially, I'd imagine doing it solo. So I can't imagine doing it solo normally.
Yeah, that's fair.
As it were, and then kind of having to level up and level up and level up and grind and grind and grind to get to the higher levels and, kill the
especially
the
if you are at a point where you feel like your guns are underpowered, then everything is a chore.
Exactly. I never had that experience because I joined the game with my friends and they just went, here you go, and dumped a whole load of really high level gear on me, and off we went, and it was great. It was a blast. And it did mean that we could just focus on having fun with it instead of it being kind of a grind or a difficult chore or something. Did you enjoy it enough that you also have or would want to play the pre-sequel and 3?
Well, I had started the pre-sequel since that was part of the Hanson collection on Xbox One. I'm hoping / expecting to complete that in the same way that I figured I would eventually complete the story for Borderlands 2. But the story in that game is not as good. Really not very interested, so I'm not sure when that will ever happen.
And obviously I was only asking you to complete the story, which you did very quickly. In fact, I think it's hard to tell exactly.
Yeah, it was like half an hour.
It was like your
away.
Last achievement, right? It was the last story achievement. You were right at the end.
Yeah, it was pretty close to the end.
What motivated you to say, you know what, I'm going to actually complete the whole darn thing? Because that's exactly what you did, and that's no mean feat. I'd imagine it took quite a few more hours after that point to do all the rest of find all the map locations, do all of the extra character achievements.
Yeah, it was another few days of playing
the challenges. Yeah,
but I had gotten into the mindset of playing it, so it was easy to keep myself from putting it back down.
Awesome. Well, Mario, thank you for going back and finishing up the story of Borderlands 2. Thank you for talking about it with me.
Thank you for the suggestion.
Do you have any other games on your list that you're thinking of going back to? You've actually got a quite varied list, and most of your games don't... So being a completionist, you don't have quite the same level of old outstanding games in your collection. So this was the oldest... or one of the oldest by quite some way. Most of the rest date from 2016 onwards. But it's quite a varied list. You've got a kind of a variety of different stuff in there. Is there anything calling to you?
Well, I'm really looking forward to finishing the story on Marvel Ultimate Alliance. So it was a pack-in for my first Xbox 360. It's basically the first game I ever played.
Wow. So that game appeared in a lot of people's lists, I think particularly because of that. That they just kind of... It came with the Xbox.
I'm sure, yeah. Also, Forza Motorsport 2, which has an discontinued achievement now, unfortunately.
Well, I look forward to talking to you again at a later date to hear more about your NeverEnding Stories.
Great. Thanks for having me on.
Hello and welcome to Vacay. I'm Vacay, having played yet another Ratalaika published Metroidvania. The Guys, as in deceptive appearance, not a group of dudes, describes itself as a dark fairy tale Metroidvania starring an orphan who turns into a demonic creature after putting on a strange mask he finds in an otherwise locked room. It turns out the lady who is running his orphanage is some sort of probably benevolent witch or other supernatural entity. I never figured it out as I stopped playing when I unlocked the game's final achievement, which is pretty early in the story, just after the third boss fight. Having glanced at the achievement list before starting the guys and noticing the sub 1 hour completion estimate, I did not expect much from it. It is never a good sign when the achievement list does not require you to complete the game, just play the first hour. I was, however, pleasantly surprised by its moody opening and visual effects. Sadly, it didn't take long for me to grow tired of the game's sometimes clunky controls and always terrible hitboxes. Many of the game's issues stem from the protagonist's unusual shape, due to his short 4 legs. Attacks are mostly headbutts and possibly bites. I'm not sure how that works through a mask, but it makes as much sense as the spitting attack you learn. Spitting acid with a mask covering your mouth seems like a really terrible idea, but it somehow works. The guise is $6, which is an unusual price point. It is better than the $5 Ratalaika Metroidvanias, but not by much. And it is nowhere near the quality of the higher priced Cat Maze or Intrepid Izzy. The guise has 11 achievements worth 1000 game score and 1300 TA, and a TA completion estimate of half an hour to 1 hour. However, it will likely take you a bit more than an hour to complete because the combat is unusually difficult for a Ratalaika title. The guise is very likely in the top 3 most difficult Ratalaika published games, which isn't very difficult, but still rather challenging. You can't just button mash your way through enemies, and especially bosses. You'll need to figure out their patterns and slowly and carefully bring them down, which could have been fun. Unfortunately, it can be very difficult to avoid attacks and see how close you need to be to do damage. Especially your slow, heavy attack is very risky to use, as the fast-paced fights require tons of maneuvering and dodging attacks. I was simultaneously disappointed and relieved to see achievements dry up so fast. The guise is a proper Metroidvania with an unusual story and interesting mechanics. Unfortunately, it fails on the execution. Have a nice day, everyone.